We are glad to welcome you to our channel. Kindly subscribe to our channel and share our videos with your friends and relations. And click on the bell icon for instant notification whenever new videos are uploaded on this channel. Rest assured that we are going to have a very exciting and inspiring discussion. Let's dive into the lesson right away. In today's video, we are going to look at 10 top rules of sentence formation. The sentence is the grammatical unit that enables us to communicate complete ideas when we speak and when we write. And this is why it is important to learn the rules of sentence formation. I am Benjamin from English Classes Online. Let's dive into it right away. Rule number 1, every sentence must have a subject and a verb. For example, John runs. In this sentence, John is the subject, runs is the verb. Of course, there is an exception to this rule. For example, if you are given a command, you can simply say run or come or go. That is an exception. But a sentence that is declarative in nature must have a subject and a verb. John runs. Rule number 2, the subject and the verb in a sentence must agree in number in terms of singular or plural. For example, she runs. In this example, she is the subject and runs is the verb. She is a singular subject and runs is a singular verb. In the second example, they run. They is a plural verb and they is a plural subject and run is the plural verb. Now, these two examples exemplify what we call rules of concord, specifically the subject-verb agreement. This rule states that a singular subject is used with a singular verb and a plural subject goes with a plural verb. So this is one of the rules of sentence formation. The subject and the verb in a sentence must agree in number. Rule number 3, a sentence must express a complete thought. For example, the cat sat on the mat. The cat sat on the mat. Now, if you take a part of this sentence, it will not convey a complete meaning or express a complete thought. For example, if you simply say the cat, the listener will ask you some questions. What did the cat do, or what happened to the cat? And that shows that it does not express a complete thought, and that is why it is not a sentence. The cat is a noun phrase. The cat sat on the mat is a sentence. A sentence expresses a complete thought. Okay? This brings us to rule number 4. A sentence must begin with a capital letter and end with a punctuation mark. For example, I love to read books. Now, when you add emotion to this utterance, then you make it an exclamatory sentence and it ends with an exclamatory mark. If it is simply a statement, for example, John loves to read books, you simply put a full stop. Okay? What if you turn this to a question? Do you love to read books? Then it will end with a question mark. So A sentence must begin with a capital letter and end with a punctuation mark. Rule number 5, a sentence must use the correct tense. Let's look at some examples. We visited grandma yesterday. Now, visited is a verb in the past tense because we are talking of an action that took place in the past. We visited grandma yesterday. Look at example 2. We visit her every weekend. Now, because this action takes place habitually, we use the present tense. We visit her every weekend. So a sentence must use the correct tense. Of course, if you use the wrong tense, you distort the meaning and you render it ungrammatical. All right? Rule number 6. The order of subject, verb, object should be followed in most cases. Of course, this applies to declarative sentences. For example, Messi scored the winning goal. Messi is the subject, scored is the verb, the winning goal is the object. So you have subject, verb, object. The second example follows a similar structure. Okon killed a snake. Okon is the subject, killed is the verb, and the snake is the object. So you have subject, verb, object. Now, take note of the fact that this applies to declarative sentences. We are going to look at rules that apply to some other types of sentences. In English, you have different types of sentences, okay? This brings us to rule number 7. In a compound sentence, a coordinating conjunction is used to link two main clauses. Now, of course, you know that a compound sentence contains two main clauses. For example, you have Samson was physically strong, but he was morally weak. You see, so Samson was physically strong, but he was morally weak. Now, here we have two main clauses, or two independent clauses, if you like. And so Samson was physically strong is main clause number 1. He was morally weak is main clause number 2. And of course, let me try and show you example what this means. If we have to analyze this, okay, if we analyze this sentence, Samson was physically strong is main clause number 1. Let's represent main clause with MC, main clause number 1. Then, but is the coordinating conjunction. He was morally weak is main clause number 2. Let's call this MC2, right? Let's call this MC2. So here we have two main clauses, and these two main clauses are linked or joined by the coordinating conjunction. We call this CC. But is a coordinating conjunction. So that is the rule here. In a compound sentence, a coordinating conjunction is used to link two main clauses. Okay? That's exactly the way it is done. Okay? Okay? Let's now move on to rule number 9. We are going to see rule number 9. No. We're going to look at rule number 8. We just finished rule number 7. Now, rule number 8, a sentence should not have double negatives. That's another rule. For example, I don't have no money. This is wrong because you have two negatives here. Don't is a negative and no is another negative. So where you have two negatives, it makes the sentence wrong. I don't have no money. Of course, you from time to time you hear people speak and write in this manner, but of course, this could only be acceptable in informal situations. All right, but in standard English, this is wrong. Now, what is correct is to say, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. You replace the second negative with any. Okay, that's the correct thing to do. Now, let's move on to rule number 9. In the imperative mood, the sentence is a command or request with the second person as a subject that remains hidden most of the time. For example, bring the bottle over here. So here you can see that the subject is omitted, is hidden, but implied. Now, the subject here is you, okay, you, but it is not included. When you give somebody a command or you make a request, you don't normally say you bring the bottle over here. No, so you is omitted. You don't say you bring the bottle over here. You simply say bring the bottle over here. Again, you don't say you make me a cup of tea, please. You omit the subject and you simply say make me a cup of tea, please. So this is the rule that applies to imperative mood, or what we call the imperative sentence. We have different functional types of sentences. We have the declarative sentence, which is called a statement. Then we have the imperative sentence, which is called a command. We have the interrogative sentence, which is called a question. And we have the exclamatory sentence, which we call an exclamation or an interjection. I have a video that gives you a full explanation of the various types of sentences according to function. Then I have another video dealing on types of sentences according to structure. You might browse through the channel and be able to look at these videos, okay? Now, the last but not the least is rule number 10. An interrogative sentence, in interrogative sentences, the predicates and primary verbs usually come before the subject. So what this means is that you have the predicate or the verb coming before the subject, and this applies to interrogative sentences. As I earlier mentioned, an interrogative sentence is a type of sentence you use in asking questions. For example, who scored the winning goal? You see, who scored? You know, scored comes before the winning goal here. Who scored the winning goal? But that is a WH question. Now, let's pay attention to the yes or no question, because this is where the verb comes before the subject. Are you a student of this school? The verb is are you. The subject is you here. Okay. Are you a student of this school? and then this is the complement, so we can call this C. Are you a student of this school? The verb comes before the subject, and that is the rule that applies to interrogative sentences. Well, this brings us to the end of today's lesson. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like the video and share it with your friends and relations. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, kindly leave them in the comments section below. I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Goodbye for now. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you in the new video. Thank you and